Hi everyone and welcome back to Waterhouse Forde. I've been talking quite a bit about this water trap for the airline. So in this video I'm fitting the water trap into the airline. I fit it as close to the compressor as I can. So obviously it captures the water and basically everything after that is protected. That's the main objective, or was my main objective. And really it's just about ensuring that we don't have any water in the airline, any moisture whatsoever. Hopefully that means my quick couplers won't corrode again. It certainly is required for the bead blaster. I've noticed in the bead blaster that the nozzles were getting a little bit caked up, and you could see it was moisture and the dust mixing with the moisture and basically caking up the nozzle. So I'm hoping that's going to stop now. And just generally, it's a good idea to have one. If all you're ever doing is pumping up tyres, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But if you're using it with tools or for different appliances, then you need one. And really, I should have installed one at the start. So this is how I do it. I'm sure there's a million ways to do it. Have a look. Some of you may have some ideas or some comments. That's absolutely fine. We welcome comments and we welcome different experiences and different ideas, so please do comment at the bottom of the video. Hope you enjoy it. Here you go. Okay, we're back at the compressor now. We've got a couple of things that we need to do. Firstly, that's going to go in there, so connect to the compressor. On here we've got a compression joint that will go on there, then an adapter, a tap which will allow us to isolate the filter if we needed to, and then the filter will go on the end there. What I'm going to do is connect the tap to the filter, the adapter, and then the olive into the adapter, and then connect the copper pipe last after we've installed the copper pipe in there. So I'll do it rather than talk about it. It's probably easier that way. Now the reason we're doing all this is, as I said, is to get rid of or to have a way of capturing the moisture in the air, so that it doesn't travel into the rest of the system. And hopefully that will mean that our quick coupling adapters, and also the things like the bead blaster won't get quite as much moisture in them. So the first thing is to get the tap connected to the filter. Make sure I'm doing it on the right side. The filter has to go in one direction only. Unfortunately, that's going to end up being upside down, which is not ideal. Unless I can turn it. So this is going to be against the wall. And what I'm concerned about is I'm not really going to be able to... I should be able to operate that tap okay. I don't really want to force this anymore. No, I'm not going to get it round anymore. So we'll have to go with that. That's a pain. What would have been better, I suppose, would be to have another adapter there, but unfortunately I don't have one. Okay, let's move on. So the next thing is to put the coupler on. The reason I had to use a coupler is this tap is actually meant for a gas line, which takes an 8mm copper pipe rather than a 10, which is what this pipe is. So I had to use this adapter to be able to go up from 8mm, or rather that prevents me from just putting the copper pipe straight onto the tap. Just make sure that that's nipped up. Okay. Now we're going to put this adapter, which has the olive connection at the other end. I'm afraid I don't know all the technical terms for plumbing fittings, so you'll have to just get by with the adapter, which is about as much as I know. I'm hoping that's going to seal. It should do. Okay, we'll put that aside for a second. The next job is to get this connected to the compressor. Okay, we don't want to get any of this into the lines, so we'll just clean that up. That'll do. I'm going to put just a little bit more on this face. Okay, and then that goes in there. Come on. There we go. And we'll just tighten that up. Okay, now we need to turn this pipe, so, well, let's first clean up this sealant and get rid of all of the excess. There we go. So what I'll need to do now is just loosen this olive so I can turn the pipe so that it's sitting like that. Okay. Right, now we need to move the compressor into its position and get it all lined up, mount this onto the wall, and then we can connect that up. And then we'll do the other side and connect it into the air line. Okay, we're now in the back room where the compressor lives. It's roughly in position, but obviously we'll adjust it as we need to go. I'm afraid the lighting in here is not fantastic, so I hope that you're going to be able to see what we're doing. I realized that this whole arrangement was the wrong way around. Basically the wall mounting was on this side, was on the front. There are arrows on the top that tell us that the flow has to be this way. The way we've got the compressor sitting, this is our inlet and this is our outlet, obviously. And the way it was going to work was that, well, the way it was arranged, basically the wall mounting was on the wrong side. That's a simple fix. You can simply remove this Allen screw here, and these two parts come apart. You obviously switch it around, but the other thing you have to do is, this is the hole here for the pressure meter, which we don't really need, but obviously it comes with a set. On the other side, so that hole was on this side. You can see in there's a grub screw, and beneath the grub screw there's a rubber washer. So you just have to swap those around as well. But basically now that's going to sit on the wall over there, and it's the right way around. So again, if you're installing one of these, just be aware of that. Right, now as I say, the lighting is, and the lighting's not great, and there's not a lot of room in here, so I hope that this is going to make a good video. If it doesn't, I apologize. But I think the first thing we need to do is get this fitting back on. Then we can work out where on the wall this needs to be mounted. And once that's mounted, we can move the compressor backwards or forwards and get it connected in there. So first things first, let's get this into the air line, the main distribution line. There we go. And that's a simple connection, as you're probably aware. Unfortunately, I tapped the wrong way around now, so we'll have to change that around as well. So at the moment it's turning towards the wall, which is no good for us. What we need is it to turn this way. Which it will do, but the stops, I don't know if you can see this, but there's stops here. So they're not going to be in the right place. Not that it really matters for this application, because this is not being used every day. It's used once in a blue moon, so I think that that's going to be okay. Okay, great. So now we know that this needs to be, firstly the compressor needs to move back a bit, and we need to be at that sort of height. So just bring it. So we need to be about there, essentially. So I'm going to, I've got two screws, I'm just going to pop those in. There we go, that's nice and firm. So now we can get this pipe in. We've got the right distance, everything's in line. So we just need to move the compressor, which is like that. And now we can tighten up that olive. Probably tight enough. If we find it's leaking, we can always tighten it a bit more. Right, final job is to install, for today anyways, to install the pressure gauge, which comes with the filter pack. So we've got the compressor in situ. We've come a copper pipe coming through into the filter and moisture trap, and connected into the main distribution line. Alright, so we've left it overnight, and hopefully all of these connections have now sealed. So what we're going to do, I've closed this tap and I've closed this tap. What we'll do, we'll build up a bit of pressure in the compressor, probably just to about 2 bar, and just make sure that nothing's leaking from here to here. Once that's done, we'll open this tap and pressurize this section here, and make sure nothing's leaking here. And we'll also then be able to see the pressure on that gauge. And once all of that's checked out, then we'll open this tap to pressurize the whole system. And so to test for leaks, we're going to use soapy water in a spray bottle. So So what I'll do is I'll quickly spray each of the connections that we made. And then we're going to power up the compressor now. Obviously it makes a lot of noise, especially in a small room, so I will take or edit the sound and just reduce the noise on the video. So this gauge here tells us the tank pressure. This gauge is the pressure coming through the regulator, or the regulated pressure, which as you can see at the moment is 0. So what we'll do is we'll open up the regulator. Okay, we've got a massive leak over here. You can hear it. So that copper olive, the olive on the copper pipe is not sealed at all. Okay, so what I've done, I've removed that nut, and we can see, hoping that the camera is picking it up, but this basically that olive has not gone properly into this section here, and has actually deformed the olive. I'm going to check to see if I've got another one, but before I do that I'm going to see if I can actually just reseat that olive and get it to sit properly in there. Reason being, if that doesn't work, then I'm actually going to have to cut this part back. I don't think I'll be able to get that olive off. I'll try, but we'll see. Okay, when I removed that olive, I managed to remove it without damaging anything, and incredibly, I really didn't think this would work, but it did. Is I installed a small O-ring in its place, which was a comfortable fit on the copper pipe, and basically just squeezed that in using this nut. I don't know how long it's going to last like that, but it seems to be holding. So I've got 2 bar of pressure on there now. Obviously we need to get up to something a bit higher, but that is holding absolutely fine. So now I'm going to open this and see if we can get some pressure into this system. You can see the gauge moving there. Right, so we'll just check we don't have any leaks anywhere here. None that I can see. Let's go for the full hog. So we're now applying pressure to the entire system, and so far it seems to be holding. I'm going to stop the camera and just run the compressor up to the full 8 bar that it normally sits at, and see if that produces any leaks. I'll come back with the result. Okay, it's been almost an hour now, leaving the system at full pressure. As you can see on this gauge, we're sitting at just below 8 bar, or almost, well, probably about 110 psi. Now the compressor kicks off, it switches off at about, looks like it's about 7.9 bar, pretty much where that pressure's sitting now. And incredibly, that O-ring seems to be holding. I honestly didn't think that was going to work, but it seems to be working for now. When the shop's open again tomorrow, I will see if I can get another olive and replace it, or at least have it ready to replace when I need to, or if I need to. And on the compressor itself, we're sitting at So remember, this side tells us the tank pressure, so just under 8, and this side is a regulated pressure, which I've got set to the maximum at the moment. I would normally turn that down so that it's sitting about 6 for normal day-to-day use. So I'm going to leave it like that for the rest of the day and see how it fares. I expect it will drop slightly over a period of time. I don't expect it to stay at full pressure permanently. So there you go. A little bit annoyed about damaging that olive. Honestly, it's never happened to me before. It's because I had the olive inside the nut and I just pushed the pipe in and started tightening it, and I didn't make sure everything was lined up before tightening it. My mistake. Shocked really that O-ring worked. It was just one I had lying around, popped it on, it seemed to fit, tightened up the nut, and it's sealed. I don't know how long it's going to last, we'll see. But if it fails, that's fine. I'll just get another olive and we'll sort that out, no problem. Yeah, look, I hope this has been interesting. I hope you got some ideas. I'm sure different people will do it different ways. As I say, there's many ways to skin a cat, and I'm sure some of you got better ways of doing it, absolutely. But this is what I had. And mostly it was bits that I had lying around. I only had to buy 1 or 2 of the fittings. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you got any comments, please put them at the bottom. See you soon.